So the table shows information about the amount spent by 100 customers in a supermarket. So we have a frequency table, and we've got to use it to complete the cumulative frequency. So we want to go from 0 to 20 has been given, so we want to go from 0 to 40, so that'll be 18 and 22, which is 40. Now we want to go from 0 to 16, which is 18, 22, which we already know is 40, and 35 is 75. So now we've got our 75, and we've got to add on 15 to that, which gives me 90. Then I need to add on 8 to all of that lot, which we already know is 90, so that's 98. And the final two, hope if I write with my pen, of course, and so my highlighter, so 98, and finally add on the 2, gives me 100. And you should always check that the number at the bottom of your cumulative frequency table is exactly the same as the number of customers in the supermarket or in the information provided. So now we need to plot this onto the cumulative frequency graph, and you'll know from, if you've done these before, we're going to have a graph that looks like that. We've just got to be clear on what is our coordinates, which is x and which is y. We always, with cumulative frequency, plot the end of the interval, that will be our x, against cumulative frequency, which will be our y. So our first point will be 20 with 18, second point 40 with 40, and so on. I won't do them all, but just reminds you where these points come from before we put them on the graph. So we're now going to plot our points onto a graph, and we've got to use that graph to find an estimate for the median amount spent. So I've written all the points out across here. So we've now just got to mark them in. So we've got to mark 20 with 18. So we can kind of see that we're going to be on 20, 40, 60, that's going to be no problem, but we need to know what the squares at the side stand for. We've got 10 little squares standing for 20, so each little square stands for 2. So 20 and 18 then will just be before the 20, so I'll mark that in there. Then I've got 40, 40, which is there. 60 and 75, so that's the 75 will be halfway between the 70, which is there, and the 80. It's about as close as I can get. 80 with 90, halfway between 80 and 100. 198. And then finally 120 and 100. So I've marked them in. I'll try and draw them as accurate as I can with my finger on this iPad. And that's not too bad. I've kind of missed one there, but I can't really rub it out. I'm sure you'll just, if you made the same mistake as me, rub that out and make sure it goes through the point. But it's good enough to get the median. So we've got 100 scores, so the median's going to come from the 50th, halfway between 40 and 60. Come across. Let's try again, like that, and then come down. It looks as though it's going to be 2 squares past the 40. Yeah, it's not quite right. Let's just draw another one. 2 squares past the 40. I'm going to estimate that at 44. But I expect they'll let you have answers anywhere between 40 and 44, depending on where you draw your graph. But my median, 44.